Okay, so we haven't been this far back. We have these. So I start... Do I start with the SIFO? Oh. I see, it hadn't changed yet. Well. Now I've changed clothing. Dumb barrel. Okay. So the problem is, I can't actually do anything in here. This morning on our 17th day of space travel to Stigmar. Age of Stigmar. The ship inexplicably exited hyperspace velocity. The navigation tools went crazy and the ship lost power as if it had been drained by some exterior thing. I'm going to try and make an emergency landing on this unreported planet. I'm not sure what we'll find. There seems to be a huge storm on the surface of this planet. I hope we make it. Okay, open fusion reactor. Probably needs a fusion rod. We don't have those. Have I looted those? Yes. Okay. Nothing this direction. I think we've looted this place completely. If not, I don't know. We should probably get some more water and food if I haven't. Well, there's some of that. We can decode the chip. I think I'm going to leave the rest of that for later. I really wish you could actually link storage lockers together. That would actually be extremely cool. If you could kind of shift things around, not just dismantle the walls of it. Unfortunately, I need the T2 dismantling chip, and I don't think I have that yet. No. What did we just learn how to make? I have no idea. Okay. So now is the awkward part of ferrying all of these valuable resources back with me. I think I'm going to leave the uranium. I don't think I can do anything with it. Take the whole ship apart. You have no idea how much I wish I could do that. Like, legitimately in these games, I really wish once you looted everything from them, you could actually just take a hacksaw and take them apart piece by piece, park a machine outside, and slowly strip them bare. That would be so good. Hydrate with what water? Should probably actually hydrate in real life, too. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I say the new DLC is good, is you actually can, you can find just piles of debris out on the planet and scrap them for large quantities of resources, which is extremely nice. Yeah, Hardspace Shipbreaker, oh, that'd be good. If you could actually do full Shipbreaker with this one? I don't know. I really liked Hardspace Shipbreaker. I don't feel like they went nearly as far as they could have with that game. I don't think that's much of a hot take. I think that's probably a fairly agreed upon position. But it is one that I'm always going to be just a little grumpy about, that like Hardspace Shipbreaker would have been a perfect DLC platform, just like this one, where they just keep adding more and more ship types. It also really needed the ability to make custom ships, because can you imagine how cool that would have been if people could have like fan modded in, like, I don't know, an Imperial Star Destroyer? Why not, right? Let's see. Will we get access to that for every planet, though? I don't think you're going to have the random recyclable stuff on the ground. I don't think that's going to show up on any other planet. I think it's just going to be the new one. Sadly. Okay. Oh, you know what I should have done? I'm a fool. I brought back every single valuable resource. What I should have brought back was every single bit of iron I can get my hands on. Because at this point, we should go for big storage lockers. I think more games should allow mods because it adds more replay value. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think any kind of game that is even lightly sandboxy should, by default, the developers should be planning on having it have mods. Like, I mean, I'd even go so far as to say, like, Ball Pit, which came out kind of recently. Ow. Okay. Note to self, can take falling damage. Forgot about that. I think it's because I usually have a jetpack. Why am I harvesting the iron on the way here? Whatever. Most recent Ball Pit game that I got, like, really obsessed with, I really wish that had modding. Can you imagine how cool that would have been? Oh, it would have been so good. Oh, come on. Wait, I can hop up it. Okay, there we go. What's the most valuable resource in this game? I mean, early on, iron is definitely a big one. Because you need so much of it. As soon as you get a mining machine, though, iron is, like, no longer a problem at all. Okay. Oh, we did actually have some water. Oops. Okay, iron. Yeah, I should have brought back all of the iron I possibly could. Instead. Well, we can bring the uranium back with me. I could scrap one of these lockers, but I think I'm going to be back here. This is actually near some things, including that cave exit, which could be useful. It could have also given us 4 different endings to Shipbreaker. Choose the union or not, decide later, stick with the decision, unions, unionist trader, Corpy and Corpy trader. That would have been interesting. I think, I don't know. This also feels like they could have done more in that universe. Like, I think it would have been really cool if you had one where instead of going to the salvage dock, you actually have like a teeny little ship of your own and you're parking near derelicts. Like, this would have to be a sequel, but they could have it be a sequel that literally just uses half of the assets. But like a sequel where you're in a tiny little ship, and you fly up to a derelict, you loot the derelict, you clear things out. If any of you have played the derelict stuff in No Man's Sky, that, but Hard Space Shipbreaker would have been so good. And I recognize, like, all of this would take way, way more time in development, but it still makes me want it. Okay. So heat's going, pressure. Oh, do we have, like, nothing for drills? We're up to the T3 drills. Oh, shit. I had a gazillion iron. What was I doing? Okay. Move these over. We're just going to, one by one, loot these. And transfer them into the big lockers. Because, oh boy, these things really do make a huge difference. A little hard with the screen shake going on, but eh. Okay. I think we could do one more locker here. Damn it. Oh, good. That resets the rotation. There we go. I could do more, but I think I'm just going to stick to the small ones here, just because we're not going to be able to fit much. Okay. And at some point, I will think about organizing this better. For now, I'm just going to slap whatever I can in. Rarer resources in the back, more common resources up front. Put seeds here. I'll figure out the rest later. Alright. I guess food. Let's take the food. We should probably also make that food grower now that I'm thinking about it. I'm going to put food and snacks there in retrospect. Well, maybe not the seeds. Is that more? I'm hearing like a... Is that a second? Is it... Did we just have one of these? We just had a double meteor swarm. That's wild. Okay. Organize this. I'm going to take this super alloy and the aluminum out. We're going to move them over here for some reason. I'll move the iridium over. Just to have things at least with a semblance of organization. Oh, we did want them here. Okay, I'll figure out more storage in a bit. So, terraforming-wise, we want to make... What is this? Oh, it's a recycling machine. Oh, that's kind of good. We want to make a food grower, so we need a water bottle, iron, and aluminum. Because pretty soon, we're going to run out of random scroungeable food. And having... I think 2 food growers kind of right in this entrance will help me a lot. Let's see. Seeds are here. I don't remember which of these is best. We're going for eggplant. That's going to take a while. Okay, so next up, do we make another one? We don't have any ice on us, though. That's okay. I know we have a piece of ice right here. Beans are the best. Good to know. Well, I have 1 bean. There we go. So that'll at least give us some baseline sustenance. Next up, do we have any more of these? I don't think we've got anything new. T2 agility boots, but we don't have the super alloy. I do know where the super alloy is. I could go get more. We'll leave it. Iron, titanium, and aluminum. Let's go for that. That's 2 of each, right? Yeah. And my favorite thing to do with these big drills is to plonk them in the most nonsensical place ever. But I think I'll leave that for later. Ooh, that terraformation index is speeding up. Because yeah, I don't think we've been generating any pressure. Yeah, I've been ignoring that. Problem is, a lot of the... Oh, no. There's some really good pressure stuff. So I guess it's fine. I think I'm going to wait until we hit the T3 heater. We do have the T3 vegetube, though. Okay, let's go find ice. 1, because I'm thirsty. 2, because I'm gonna need it. Yeah, considering growing beans, I hope we got some good air filters in your base. I think this guy doesn't even take his helmet off in the base. I think this guy's just stewing in his own stank all the time. My assumption is you gotta probably get to the point where you just either are okay with it, you're numb to it, or you like it. I don't know where it lands. I know this problem all too well. I love making chili. It's a 3-bean chili. It's not like a particularly advanced recipe. It's just chili, barley, and then a shit ton of spices, and a can of tomatoes. Wow, yeah. Pressure is just zooming at this point. And it's like the one recipe I'm very good at. But boy, after the fact, I am noxious to be around. I actually hung out with Alexa in person, I guess, was it last Saturday? I think it was last Saturday. So it was, I guess, a bit over a week ago. He was just randomly in town, and so we decided to hang outside and chat for a bit. And I made the conscious decision not to eat chili beforehand because I knew it would make me a problem. And I did not want to have to deal with being a gross dude in the first time I ever met one of the Wholesomeverse members in person. Is he the first Wholesomeverse member I've seen, actually? I think so. I've had the opportunity to see Rito a couple of times, but he's always busy. Okay, so Vegetube. What does that require? Another piece of silicon and some aluminum. Oh, and water bottles. Water bottles ahoy. Oh, yeah, I can just hold control for that. That is so nice. Oh, this is an outdoors thing. That's actually extremely nice. That's not nice. Okay, I need magnesium and silicon. I have none. Well, there's the magnesium, there's some iron, there's some silicon. Okay, there we go. Hi Wander, how are you? I'm not gonna joke. I read that as Hi Wander, how dare you? Oh, that's very funny. I don't know if I'd be keen on people just greeting me as Hi Wander, how dare you? But I was taken aback for a moment. Okay, well, we need to go get a bunch of resources. Let's just dump all this stuff off. Alright. So soup is mixing things in hot water. Then what does make a... then what's the difference between a soup and a bath? You don't drink the bath water. Which means that you can have a radioactive bath. With fissile materials in it, or toxic sludge. Those are baths, but not soup. Soup go in the face hole. Bath do not. Boy, we just have oodles of resources just left behind by these meteor swarms. Ain't complaining. Especially because it's actually a pretty good source of aluminum. Let's see, where does your name actually come from? Wander means something along hiking or traveling in German. But I like your name a lot. Yeah, so, I guess way back when I started the channel, Wander was just, yeah, hiking, traveling, wandering, exploring, and then Bot was because I like robots. Now it feels kind of bad because now everybody under the sun is making the dumbest bots known to man, and so it makes my branding feel kind of toxic. Oops. When I first met Stumped, or interacted with Stumped back in the day, I think I was just like leaving a message on their channel or something like that. I forget the how or the why. But they legitimately, truly thought I was a bot. You know, like water bot back in the day. And, it took a little bit for them to realize, no, this is a real person on the other end. Now this might sink my power. It does not, but we should probably build at least a couple more of these. Cobalt and aluminum. I am starting to run out of aluminum, which is somewhat of an issue, but is fine. Okay. That should give me plenty of power. You know, I made all these vegetubes. They don't do jack unless I actually jam something into them. So I should go work on that. You should probably put some plants in there. No. No plant, only tube. Alright. Ooh, look at that number go up. So, let's take a look at this. So, oxygen is the big one. Yeah. Because the T3 heater, I'm going to be lazy about the heat. Because I don't really care about the biodome yet. That's a whole extra thing that I need to manage. Pressure. We do want pressure. We need so much pressure. But we're not going to get a... The next drill is like an absurd amount of heat. So yeah, I should probably get a couple more T3 drills down. I just want to get the T3 heaters because I think they also sit outside. I guess the one problem is power. Yeah, so let's figure out making a bunch of these. Okay. That's double things. T3 heaters are indoors, sadly. That's baffling. Okay. Now what? Problem is I've run out of aluminum. I know where to get more. Oh, we do actually have some super alloy and fabric, which means we can get the agility boots. 61 nanokelvin. Isn't that really cold? I'm pretty sure yes. Okay. I think I'm gonna wanna sit up in my chair is the big one. My left wrist is starting to hurt for some reason. How's this doing? Fortunately, I have no idea how fast this grows. Let's dunk this off. I think we're gonna head for the aluminum next, because we're gonna need that in larger quantities. And I might as well make another feeder base, because it seems like kind of the best thing I can do is every single time I raid one of these bases, I take all the goodies back with me, turn that into whatever I possibly can, make progress, and then I go back to exploring for a while and kind of rinse and repeat until I've gotten to a certain point. Because I think the problem is right now juggling a bunch of power is kind of moot. Because if I can get the first of the nuclear reactors, that's going to solve my power problems so much better than like endless solar panels. Oh right, gotta remember to recycle those. So we're at negative 460 degrees Fahrenheit. Brr. Luckily, there's probably not enough atmosphere for it to actually matter. I think this is a conversation point in I think it was Dead Space actually, because you only could get cold on the planet's surface, but that's because you actually had an atmosphere to make you cold. Without said atmosphere, you I think it can still get cold, maybe. Okay. I think I'm gonna do the silly thing and put this one up high. Oh, there's the T3 heaters. Let's see. Do I have enough? I need one more iron. I could loot the rest of this stuff, but I definitely need iron. But yeah, if you have no atmosphere, it doesn't matter how cold it is because there's nothing to transfer that heat. That's why I think space is actually kind of hot, question mark. Is there's nothing going on. As far as I know, physics literally won't work at that temperature. So it's more like delta temperature than actual temperature. Every once in a while I think about that, the idea of like physics breaking down at certain temperatures, and that's weirdly terrifying. Like, isn't it something like, straight up if, absolute 0 Kelvin, time possibly stops? Which, I mean, is probably impossible to reach? Meh. I don't know, man. You do lose enough heat as infrared radiation into the vacuum. The ISS does need heating. Huh. Alright, I don't know these things. I'm just regurgitating some of what I vaguely remember from high school physics from 2 decades ago. Okay. Did I miss this crate here? Or, no, I didn't. Oh, and that's full out. Absolute 0 would make atoms stop functioning. Yeah. Okay, I know things happen. Or don't happen at that stage. I'm just gonna stick the locker here, I think. And then let's deconstruct this one. Alright, so that's a hell of a lot of aluminum, which is what we need. We should probably just run around and find it. I don't think I need to do too much exploration down in this zone. Because I don't think there's actually much to explore. I really do wish I could scrap some of these bits. Yeah, what we're looking for is this. And eventually I'll just build a mine and then we don't have to worry about it. But any and all aluminum we can get our little thingies on will be helpful. More? I mean, snag iron. Our inventory is full. Never mind. Okay. More aluminum. I'm gonna need water, aren't I? Ah, shoot. So, do we even have any? Ice? We do. I'm gonna need a crafter, though. Iron silicon. Water bottle. And cloth. So, if I want to be silly, I could actually build one of these. And decode these chips directly. Yeah, let's just do that. Screen for mapping and GPS satellite. Wow, I didn't realize we were that close to putting satellites up. That's awesome, actually. I mean, I do have everything at ×2 speed, so it kind of makes sense. Because we've been playing for just shy of 2 hours, which if you're going by like regular progression speed, we would have been somewhere at the 4-hour mark. Watching this and just missed my game going wrong. I do not apologize, but I know that feeling. I've, what was I doing? Well, I mean, playing Pacific Drive, I'd look away for like 2 seconds and crash. Which, I mean, should be a lesson for everybody to learn. Distracted driving is actually extremely dangerous. This game looks like Subnautica. It definitely has a lot of Subnautica in its structural DNA, but wildly different. You know, the sad part is we are more likely to get a, at this point, we are more likely to get a good Planet Crafter 2 than a Subnautica 2. Maybe. Maybe I'm being a bit cynical with that, but, boy, Crafton is doing Subnautica serious dirty, and I'm not sure if we're ever going to get that successor. Gesundheit shell. Do we? No. We just have a bunch of resources. Yeah, planet's the opposite of Subnautica, though. I would adore it, though. Like, unironically, would love it if they made a Planet Crafter 2 that literally was just underwater. How cool would that be? We have Subnautica 2. I mean, Below Zero is kind of more like 1.5. I know the second one's supposed to launch this year, but then Krafton kind of screwed them over and then is buying them out, and then who knows what's going to be left after that? I don't really know if... I don't know if that game is going to get released. Maybe. I have a very low opinion of big subsidiary publishers at this point. Krafton is losing that lawsuit. Probably, but that doesn't mean that they're actually going to be forced to finish the game. Yeah, dev drama is a huge indicator of the quality of the game. Kerbal Space Program 2, I was sure it was going to be horrid just based on the dev history. Yeah. Yeah, I think I got a key for that. I looked at it for like a couple of minutes and said, nah. And I feel fully vindicated that I did not put any time or effort into that one. So Planet Crafter 2, underwater planet, you're trying to make land? Yeah, you know, you could have, I mean, effectively just have it be raft. Like, it starts raft-wise. You land on the planet, you're swimming around, just scavenging resources. Then you start diving under the water to, like, raid points of interest for resources. And then you're eventually starting to, refreeze some of the water that's flooded the world and starting to turn that into, you know, polar ice caps and whatnot, and glaciers, to give yourself enough, like, meaningful dry land to walk around on. I think that could be really cool. I could also see it being a logistical nightmare, from, like, a programming perspective, but it'd be really cool. I'd also be, like, equally excited about a Planet Crafter that is, I don't know how many of you guys saw the it was I Am something. It wasn't I Am Legend. I Am Future. There we go. I really wanted to like that game. It was kind of a letdown in the end because it just didn't have that interesting of a tech tree, sadly. But I would love to see a I Am Future kind of thing where you are on top of a giant, like, skyscraper in the middle of a ruined city that you are salvaging and turning into more stuff. Again, very much what I Am Future was, but deeper, like with this level of a tech tree. That's a hell of a lot of aluminum, which is very much what we need. Yeah, Planet Base is getting a second game. Never played it. Probably should. Ooh, nuclear reactor. I need super alloy for that. Oh, no. I also... Do I know how to make a uranium rod? Uh-oh. I think we might have... Wait, no. It's the advanced crafting station. Okay, good. But I'm going to have to bring all these things back to the other base. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, Subnautica Below Zero was originally planned as a DLC. I think it fits perfectly. It is a standalone DLC. Honestly, I wish more game developers would do that. Just make a really... Well, okay. We're hitting the point where video game graphics are pretty much going to hit an upper limit. I wouldn't say the Planet Crafter is anywhere close to that theoretical limit. I think they could actually do a fair bit more if they wanted to make it look more realistic. Thing is, I don't actually think it would make the game any better if it looked fancier. Let's see. And so I kind of wish developers, especially for these more sandboxy games, would do exactly what Planet Crafter is doing. You make a really good game, and then you just kind of just start releasing standalone sequels, expansions, successors. Frankly, I'd even love it if it was one of those where, they're sold as separate games, but if you have both of them, you can connect them together. I know that's a little bit more impractical, and I'm sure it probably has some kind of logistics problem that would make it less than feasible, but I was playing the Pacific Drive DLC, Shredder Machine, and T2 Torch. Not what I need that much, but still. Streamed another game like that a few months ago. Are we talking Last Caretaker? That wasn't a few months ago, that was a couple days ago. Which I do want to play, but I think I'm going to wait until that game is done. Okay, so we want to make this. 3 aluminum, titanium, magnesium, and silicon. A launch platform. Really? We are just cruising here. I think I'm just going to plunk... I'm just going to plunk this right here. Okay, so I can make a uranium rod, but I need more. Could make super alloy, don't want to. How much super alloy am I sitting on? 1. Ouch. I want more of the Dino Mansion. That is another one I will be going back to as part of WanderVods. I want to go back and play through Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3 and then 1 Re-Raptored. Because that wouldn't even take that long. I just am playing this first. I don't know. Okay, let's probably do one more run of that, and then we can go get super alloy and some other things. It reminded me of the original Sims where you had to install in a certain order. Yeah, I mean, some things were better back then. I wouldn't say that, but like some elements of that were good. But so for this idea of like standalone sequel, successor, DLC things, I legitimately would have been happier. Well, okay, no. I would have been perfectly happy if the Subnautica people had just kept putting out more below zeros, rather than even a Subnautica 2. However, things like getting around technical debt, like if you made the game kind of shoddy the first time around and it's creating problems, okay, then it makes sense to make a new one. Or if you want to add like multiplayer, okay, fine. But for something like Planet Crafter, yeah, they could probably just keep releasing DLC for ages on this game, and I'd keep buying it and playing it, and I don't think I would ever complain. Oh, is that some more? Yeah, we want to keep grabbing aluminum. Because that is the main reason why we were even in this region to begin with, and we are going to need so much of it. And then we'll get mining machines, and then we can just easily strip mine the stuff out and not have to worry about it. There we go. I mentioned something like RimWorld. What would a RimWorld 2 even look like? Not a clue. You know, honestly, if they were to do that, it would probably be like transition to 3D. I think that's it. Transition to 3D with proper Z-axes. Would be what would make a RimWorld 2 work. I can move that over. Let's make a water bottle while we're here. And more war crimes, yeah. Like, I don't actually want a 3D RimWorld. I want a RimWorld that works in 3D. Well, I don't know, actually. I think I might. Like, I know this might be a hot take for some people, but I actually feel like some games, especially when it's like base building and whatnot, having that third dimension would be important. Digging down and building up. Can you imagine RimWorld where you can actually build like towers that are using line of sight to your advantage? Or digging like secret entrances and trenches, or just digging into the earth and finding you know, resource veins and building your base down deeper as opposed to flatter. I don't know if RimWorld really could be made that much prettier without switching the whole graphic style. I feel like Z levels would seriously mess with the balance of RimWorld. Oh, fully, which is why it would have to be a sequel. Yeah, so Dwarf Fortress, yes. I will say Dwarf Fortress does do this, and I think Dwarf Fortress mostly does it well. I think the main problem is navigating Z-axes in a 2D game is a nightmare and hard to work with. Like, from a player's perspective, it's mind-bending, and maybe not the most pleasant. Okay, so I think I actually might have too much iridium and aluminum at this point. Maybe. Yes. So I can make super alloy, but it's kind of expensive and I don't really want to. Oh, 2-1 jetpack would be good though. Holy shit, that's expensive. I guess let's actually take some of this. Actually, let's just take all of this. Let's make some iridium rods, because we can always get more. That'll solve some of our storage problems. What do I have a seed in there? You know what, let's just take all of this out. That's just aluminum now. There's nothing else, only aluminum. Because the other stuff can be condensed down. Here. Okay. Do we want to make another vegetube? I think so. So I need 2 silicon, water bottle. Okay, fine. Let's make the water bottle, but source the rest from outside. The only problem is I'm actually starting to strip mine this area in a way that I can't just like scrounge for the thing that I need. That explains why you're playing Planet Crafter today. New DLC comes out in 19 hours. The DLC is extremely good, by the way. I have early access to it, and it is very fun. Like, I'm enjoying playing the base version. It is nice to potentially get the opportunity to finally finish this on camera. I will tell you right now, the DLC, at least from the hour that I played of it, was better. Beyond a certain point, as a guy who started on the NES, graphics don't matter to me. I think graphics matter from one, it should never hold a game back. Graphics should at least be serviceable. 2, it should have somewhat of a style. I actually feel like full realism kind of sucks for this. I forgot to make the water bottle. I'm a fool. What's a good example of a game where like the style actually is kind of holding it back? I don't know. Let's go with a good example. Last of Us. I think Last of Us looks fine. I think they did realism extremely well. Okay, I need 2 cobalt and aluminum. At least we got the other stuff. But, so Last of Us looks good. I won't deny that. However, it's not a very memorable aesthetic. Like, I don't remember anything from Last of Us except for what happened during it. And the one scene with the giraffes at the zoo. That is like the one thing I remember of Last of Us. Everything else, that's gone. There's nothing that is stuck in my head from that game. In terms of like sights or visuals, you know, I kind of remember the one creepy cult leader guy in like a diner. But none of that like really sticks with me because there's no point where they went stylized. It was all just reality again and again and again. God of War 2016, I remember vividly, because they had, like, despite the fact that they were going for a very realistic style, they also were going for like a much more fantastic one. And it was extremely satisfying to like explore some of these regions. I think it was it Svartalheim? Whatever the elf lands were particularly striking. As was, Baldur's Mother's, her like hut area was very pretty. And what about Death Stranding? Visually realistic, but the aesthetic is inside world. Okay, so Death Stranding is, I'm going to say I don't like the environments in Death Stranding. I think it works, but I think it just ends up being really empty and bland. Except for when they start messing around with megastructures or the black ooze and stuff. Like, once you start interacting with that stuff, it gets a lot more compelling. But I feel like Death Stranding would have actually been better if they had maybe leaned a little harder into a style. But again, Kojima wants to go for like movie realism, so it's kind of hard to complain about. And it's weird enough that I'm kind of okay with it. I think the thing that makes Death Stranding work a little bit better is because they have some of those repeated motifs. The umbilical cords leading up into the sky with the people floating there. I think that was very good. Is Death Stranding a game people recommend? Yes. If you like seeing me play this game, you actually will like Death Stranding. I will tell you right now, Planet Crafter is one of the closest games you can get to Death Stranding. I'm not even exaggerating here. Like, they are vaguely adjacent. But I will fully say, like, Death Stranding is one of my favorite AAA games. Is it AAA? I don't know. It's one of my favorite big games I've ever played. And I honestly recommend it to everyone. Which probably sounds crazy town to people who've, like, only seen some of the marketing for it. The problem is, like, it leaned maybe a little too hard into, ooh, Kojima's weird. Like, the thing is, it's a cross between Planet Crafter and Euro Truck Simulator. With a story that is extremely dense and hard to follow, but is kind of cool if you turn your brain off and you just, like, vibe with it. Things that I really, really, really liked about Death Stranding. I'm just gonna lightly advertise for it. Shit, I might even stream my playthrough. So Death Stranding is, on its face, a transportation simulator. You are taking resources from point A to point B. In almost every case, it's like, hey, or you pick up a mission at a local place, and it's like, hey, so-and-so wants a pizza. And you slap this giant metal box that is this pizza on your back, and you have to carry it across the wasteland to get to the person living in a bunker to hand them the pizza. However, in between you and this person's bunker are kind of wild weather patterns that might cause things to get slippery, so you have to watch your footing. Crazy ghosts that want you dead, and rocks and hills that are kind of hard to traverse. And so even traversal is a little quappy. You have to worry about, like, balancing your weight and making sure you don't try and do anything too stupid, because if you slip and fall, that metal box holding the pizza takes some damage, and oopsie doopsie, the pizza inside's ruined and you have to start all over. Again, it sounds weird and dumb, but once you really get into it, it's so fun. Especially because it's not just that, it's not just a point A to point B. One thing that they did and really didn't advertise was that the world changes as you were exploring and traversing and doing deliveries and stuff. So I would specifically have, like, a path that I would take to get back to one of these common locations that I had to deliver to. And at least early on foot, you have to worry about, like, small rocks, because you can trip on them if you're going too fast. So you have to be kind of methodical with your traversal. Let's slap this up just right here. Gonna take a little bit before I think this melts, which is a downer because I kind of need to get to the other side. Oh well. Let's just get some oxygen here. Can I build one of these? No. I need some iron. Let's see if I can randomly get enough iron locally. Maybe not. So I had, like, a location that I was delivering to frequently. I couldn't drive there because I hadn't been there much, didn't know the route, and there were ghosts in the way, so I wouldn't drive. But I'd walk it. And at first, like, the first couple times I came through, first couple times I came through, I really had to worry about terrain. There was, like, a stream that I had to worry about and walk around and just be careful with, and so on and so forth. And I noticed after 3 or 4 trips back and forth to this location that I had actually carved a path just with my feet, creating this much more comfortable route into this delivery location. And you could see this everywhere, like every place that you'd been to over and over again, back and forth. It would slowly modify the world to make your life a little easier. And that's the kind of RPG progression that I really sincerely wish more games had, because it felt so good. And then once I got access to a car, I noticed that, yeah, I was starting to leave dirt roads behind in the areas that I had been specifically traversing through back and forth over and over and over and over again. And then the final kind of tier of this whole modifying the world just with your gameplay and the exploration was that you also get to build stuff. So you can put down ladders that stay there until they degrade. And so if there's like a cliff that you routinely are planning on going up and down, having that ladder there means you can just skip it. Or like a rope if you want to descend a cliff or something like that. And eventually you get to the point where you build highways. And once you have the highways, the game is pretty much done. Because at that point you just, oh, God damn it, I did it again. At least this time I have plenty of oxygen. But you can build highways that will speed things along. You can just take your car and hop on it. And as long as you're on a highway, you have unlimited power and you can go at full speed, just blasting over everything that may have ever challenged you. And it feels really good. Didn't have crowdfunding for the actual highways. Yes. So as you were traversing, it would, or as you'd get access to these places, can I build another one? No. So if you found like a terminal to build a highway, it would have like some resources already in it. You could contribute it to it as well, and that would get you resources on top of that. The in-game currency was likes, which is kind of dumb, but oh well, it's Kojima. He can do what he wants. And it just felt very satisfying watching the progression of stuff, things getting built or repaired. You can turn that off, but it's a lot grindier if you do. But it just, I don't know, it just felt very satisfying in a way that matches why I like this game so much. What the hell am I doing? I tried going into the cave because I want to get super alloy, but it wouldn't let me. Are we going to have to make it? No, we'll just walk around. I actually am kind of close to just being able to make a jetpack, but I think let's just walk around and grab some other stuff along the way. Anyway, for everybody that got potentially turned off by how freaking weird the marketing on that game was, like the weird part is the marketing implied that Death Stranding was a completely different type of game than it actually was, and like weirdly turned away probably the target audience that would have liked it the best. And only Kojima can do that and not face financial ruin. But yeah, I legitimately wish this game actually had some of those features, specifically the highway and stuff. Like, I know eventually we have a jetpack and we can just really zoom, but it would be really satisfying if I could build like a train or a rail system from point A to point B. Let's see. Okay. I don't remember exactly where the... I think you get drones later, which I know will help. I think the super alloy cave is in here, so I'm gonna park a little base here. I don't think this is gonna be a little base. I think this one's actually going to be kind of big once we get going. Let's see. So I need one silicon at the very least, and enough for some lockers. Yeah, I've never played a Kojima game, only heard the guy is weird. Kojima, so okay. A lot of game developers make toys. They might have toys with stories, they might have toys with interesting parts or whatever. Kojima wants to make movies, and his video games reflect that. They are very over the top and sometimes inscrutable, but I find them to be generally a lot more satisfying because they're extremely well thought out. That nothing is... I don't want to say nothing is surface level in a Kojima game, but it's one of those where, like, every aspect of it was intentionally chosen and crafted, even if it's dumb or if it's weird or if it doesn't make sense. But Let's see. How would I put it? Do we... No, I should probably... Well, I should probably actually expand this direction. Can I not? Ah, beans. Okay. We're just going to recycle that whole thing. We are going to pull this in. I want to build the base on top of this rock, so we don't have to worry about space issues. There we go. So, like, what's a good example of this? I mean, Death Stranding has probably some of the best, like, movement physics I've seen in a game in a very long time. Like, you really have to care about, like, how you traverse and walk around rocks, because if you trip and fall, everything's going to be a problem. They had, like, a really in-depth injury system in Metal Gear Solid 3. So if your character, if you, like, got hit really hard or shot in a specific spot, or like broken arm, it would actually have your character, you're not just down HP, your arm is broken and you have to do like specific things to to take care of that. Otherwise, yeah, you're just gonna be running around with a broken arm and it's gonna be an issue. And so I don't know, I wouldn't discount him just because of his reputation for being a bit zany, because I think he's actually one of the best game developers to ever live, and that will probably remain true for a while. I think there are some issues with it, like Metal Gear Solid 4 was kind of goofy, and then once you get to Ground Zeroes, it's worse. And I know the guy's treatment of female characters is not great, but it's never been like so terribly bad that I'd want to never play any of his games as a result. Mostly they're just very unique and singular, even if they exist in a genre that other people may have made games in. It was great in Metal Gear Solid 3. Leeches drained your max stamina as you lost blood and you had to remove them with fire. Yeah, so you'd light a cigarette and poke them with it. It's just well thought out in a way that, like, most people at the time either didn't have the budget to, or just didn't care to, because, you know, why would you have that kind of system? Your character, you know, just press triangle to remove leeches. Forehead. Okay. I'm glad that he's running his own studio now, as opposed to being kind of at the behest of Konami. It was Konami, right? Yeah, it was Konami. Not to say that they were the worst stewards of Metal Gear Solid, but I know he had some, like, back and forth with them. But I think he also really didn't like David Hayter, which kind of sucks, because David Hayter is Solid Snake, and it's weird. Even the idea of trying to replace him with Kiefer Sutherland was baffling and kind of mean. So, like, yeah, there are issues with Kojima. He's not a perfect divine being by any measure.